Welcome back, friends. Thank you for being here. Thank you for spending your time with me, your day, your night, wherever you are, whatever you're doing, driving, in the gym, whatever it is. I appreciate you spending time with me. The grief is immense, but so is our potential. Life is so fragile, yet so resilient, and we must love relentlessly. That's the caption I put on one of my TikToks today. And it felt dramatic, but it also felt super real. Like I've seen Instagram, like the memes, the text memes, where it's like it says something about the grief is immense, but so is the joy, swag city or something like that. Like life is so fragile, swag city, something along those lines. And so I just did my own interpretation of it. But it's so real. Like it's so real. I often find myself grieving everything all the time. Like it today I was just thinking about that. I was listening to a video about World War II. Hey, say that 5 times fast. World War II. I was listening to a video about World War II, and I was just like grieving just like that period of time. I was like, what the, like that's so insane. Just historically, like if you know anything about World War II, World War I, any of the wars, really, just war in general is insane to actually think about. But I was listening to this video and I was just like grieving that time period of just like the lives lost, the malevolence that was on display, just the just like the pure evil that was going on in the world. And to think that we're really not that far from it is insane. Like my grandma and my grandpa grew up through it. My grandma's still alive. And to hear the stories that she tells, and it's never much in detail, obviously, like I don't blame her whatsoever for that. But just to hear the stories in our minds, it seems like it's so far in the past, but it's really not. But that sent me on a whole thinking spiral of like, wow, I really am like I'm grieving the past, not only my past, but just the past in general, the historical past. And then I'm also grieving my past, and I'm also grieving my future. Like it's almost like the Sylvia Plath fig tree analogy where you sit underneath the fig tree for so long and you're trying to pick the perfect fig to eat. And as you sit there trying to find the perfect fig and sitting there contemplating, examining, observing, all of that time you spend on the ground, not picking any figs, all of the figs begin to rot. And then you're left with no figs because they've all rotten away. And there's a saying, indecision is still making a decision. And it makes me grieve the futures that I'm not going to have because of the choices that I am making. And it sends me into a spiral all of the time. I'm always just like, I'm the type of person that I want to do everything. I want to see everything. I want to meet every person. I want to hear every story. I want to shake every hand. I want to read every book. I want to listen to every song. And that's not possible. And it's hard not to be consumed by that in a negative way and look at that in a positive way of like, there's still so much more to explore. Like I can literally explore for the rest of my life and never reach the finish line, which again sounds so morbid and depressing, but it's also so exciting. And that makes me think about how I show up in the world and how I show up for myself. And something that I've been doing more so in the last 6 months, I would say, maybe the last 3 months, even more than I ever have in my life. And it's really a culmination of everything that I've been doing for the last year and a half, 2 years, starting on TikTok, posting daily. I've posted over 1,000 TikToks, getting in front of the camera, in the evolution of my content. And I don't mean to come on here and just sound preachy or think that I'm better than anyone or come from a place of superiority. That's not at all what I'm trying to do. I'm just trying to speak about my personal experiences and what's been helping me navigate life in what feels like a happier way, happier and healthier. I, for so long, was so just like in my own head and not living life. And I still spend so much time in my head. But more recently than ever, I've just been enjoying the things that I enjoy, like unashamedly, wholeheartedly, no matter who I'm around, no matter what I'm doing. My beliefs aren't changing. I'm unwavering in my beliefs. I'm unwavering in the things that I care about. I'm unwavering in the things that I find joy in. The music that I love. Like I used to be the type of person that was like, oh, depending on who I'm with determines what playlist I'm going to play. Like if someone's like, oh, like we're in the car or whatever, people are over, and I'm like, oh, let me throw on music that's going to appeal to them. Like I feel like that's something we all do. I'm like, I'm going to play the music I want to play. And if they don't like it, so be it. Like we can always change the song. They can always request a song. Like I'm more than happy to be the type of person to be like, what do you want to listen to? Like we can start a whole queue. We can listen to whatever you want. But if you ask me to play a song, I'm going to play a song that I like. And I find more often than not, the songs that I like, other people are going to like as well. Just because they've never heard it before doesn't mean that they don't like it. It's always just been this like preconceived notion that I've had where I'm like, oh, I have to appeal to whoever I'm with. And it shows up in like little things like that. Even something as small as just like playing a song, not for the fact that you like it, just for the fact that you think that the other person might like it. You might like it a little bit, but if you know that the other person's going to like it, or if it's in their genre or their wheelhouse or whatever, and that's the reason that you play it, that's not showing up for yourself. Like that's inauthentic. And I've been trying to live the most authentic I can, and in doing so, I'm finding that life just feels easier and better and more fulfilling, and good things start to happen. Doors start to open up. Like I'm reaching out to people that I would have never reached out to. I'm making connections that with people that are leading me down paths that I never thought I'd be going down, simply because I'm just curious. I have an interest. So I'm like, I'm not embarrassed by this anymore. And I don't know if it's just like coming with age. I don't know if it's a revelation that I've had. Because if you told me, I don't know, 3 years ago, just be yourself, just like what you like, I would be like, dude, I don't know what I like. I don't know who I am. So when I say all of this, like obviously it's a journey. It's not something you can just like do overnight. It's not something that I've done overnight. This is a process that I'm working on day in and day out, moment by moment. But it's all these constant check-ins of, am I showing up for myself? How am I showing up for myself? Am I living my life authentically? Do I like what I'm doing? Like these simple questions to ask yourself throughout the day are going to guide you to where you want to go. Whether it's like I said, simple things is like just as music or a show that you're watching, like every little thing down to the details of your day, your schedule, your routine. Do you like the bed you're sleeping on? Do you like the toothpaste you use? Do you like every little thing about your life? Like you can examine it and you can change it. And when you start to change those every little thing like that and you start showing up for yourself in the most authentic way possible, that's when things start to happen. It's not coincidence that once you start living in alignment with yourself, and I want to avoid getting like too woo woo with this because I have a proclivity to do so. Like I'm quite spiritual, but like I'm not going to start burning my sage and be like, you are aligned with yourself and the universe, because that I very well could do that. But it's really much more simple than that. It's like, are you doing the things that you like? Are you with the people you like? Are you in a place that you like? Like so many little things that can just be examined around you. And if the answer is no, it may be difficult to change, but it's likely that you can. I know many of us are in situations where we can't just change everything drastically, but the point is to start with the small things that you enjoy. Like, are you watching the videos you like? Are you posting the videos you like? Like, are you listening to the music you like? If I say like one more time this video, the alignment with self is something that as soon as I've started to really feel that I'm doing it, because I've always talked about it, I've always heard about it. I've been doing meditations and affirmations and retreats and all of these things for years. And I feel that only within maybe the last 6 months that it's all like actually happening. And it may be the least I've ever done any of that stuff. It may be the least I've ever meditated. It might be the least I've ever sat down and done hours of affirmations. It might be the least I've read self-help books. Like, I've read so many self-help books. And it's just gotten to a point where I'm just trying to show up as my most genuine self. And that doesn't mean the same thing every day. I'm not putting myself in a box and I'm like, I'm this person. This is who I have to show up as every day. That's not the case. It's more like how I show up every day is in accordance to me on that day. It's only ever in the moment. You can't show up for yourself in the future. You can't show up for yourself in the past. You can only ever show up for yourself in the moment. You can only ever do things in the moment. You cannot do things in the future. You cannot do things in the past. You can only ever do things in the present. If you want to age gracefully, you have to be graceful in the moment. You cannot age gracefully in the future. You cannot go back in time and age gracefully in the past. You can only age gracefully in the present. You can only ever do things in the present. Action can only ever be taken in the present. So showing up for yourself can only ever be done in the present. And that can change from day to day. Sometimes showing up for myself is waking up early, going to the gym, eating 3 meals, drinking ample amounts of water, checking everything off of my to-do list. Sometimes that's what showing up for myself looks like. Sometimes showing up for myself is skipping the gym, going and grabbing a little latte, going and getting a pastry, watching a show, taking time to myself, sitting out in the sun. It doesn't have to look like the same thing every day. It doesn't have to have a rigidity. You don't have to put yourself in a box. You don't have to archetype yourself. You don't have to do anything that's like these videos that we see where it's like, this is how you show up for yourself. And it's like a to-do list. I don't believe in that. I don't believe in a guide of showing up for yourself in a way that's particular things to do. I think it's more of a mindset of how you show up for yourself. A mindset of, is it authentic? Is it aligned with what I want to be doing? That doesn't mean that you can always just be ignoring certain things. Like, just because you don't feel like it doesn't mean that you don't want to do it. Like, if you want to get healthier, if you want to get more fit, if you want to get in better shape, if you want to save money, if you want to do all of these different things, that doesn't mean you can just push those off because you're like, oh, this is how I'm showing up for myself. Just because you don't feel like doing it, you still have to do the things that you want to do. If you say, oh, I want to get in better shape, okay, showing up for yourself means that you're still going to the gym. You don't have to go crazy hard and push yourself to the verge of throwing up every single day. No, that's not the case. And I used to be like that. I used to be like, oh, it wasn't a good workout. Like, I'm not depleted, almost throwing up at the end of my workout. That doesn't mean it's a good workout. I'm at a point now where I'm like, as if I'm just in the gym, if I'm moving my body, like, some days my workouts are just going for a walk. Some days my workouts are going for a little easy hike. Some days my workouts are just stretching in the sun. Like, it doesn't have to be crazy things. Like, change only ever happens by doing all of these little mundane things over a long period of time. Like, I've spent the last year and a half posting so consistent on TikTok every single day. You can go back through my entire page and you can scroll for days and it's just video after video after video. And you can go back and you can see the more authentic I'm becoming over time. I'm talking about the things I enjoy. I'm talking about the music I enjoy. I'm becoming more of myself, and that doesn't just happen overnight. And I'm doing the same thing here on YouTube. Like, on TikTok, I have like 56,000 followers. On YouTube, I have 50. That's quite a difference. That's quite a difference. Like, my videos on YouTube get 100 views. If I get 100 views on TikTok, I'm like, okay, what's going on? I get 100 views on YouTube. I'm like, this is awesome. This is so exciting. It's all relative. And you, like, I'm still showing up for myself. I'm showing up for myself on YouTube because I know that when I started on TikTok, I was starting at 100 views per video. If I got 300 views, I was excited. And then 6 months later, if I got 300 views, I was like, what's going on? And the root of all of this lies in something that I talk about all the time. If you follow me on any other platform other than YouTube, whether it's TikTok or it's Instagram or it's Threads or wherever you follow me, you know that the thing that I'd love to talk about is potential. And that's kind of been the theme of everything here. That's been the current that's been flowing through this entire video, through all the tangents that I've been going off of, is potential. There's so many incredible quotes I love about potential. There's lyrics I love about potential. There's sayings like I post on threads all of the time. I post on my Instagram stories tweets that I see. Potential is the drug they never knew you never tried. Babe, what's wrong? You've barely touched your potential. Wake up, your potential's getting cold. Potential is something that I think about all of the time. And everything I've been talking about has been leading back to potential. Because potential is something that not only hangs over my head, but also hangs in front of my face. And what I mean by that is like, it hangs over my head in a sense of like, oh fuck, there's potential, but also like dangles in front of my face like a carrot of like, there's your potential, like go get it. Because I realize what I'm capable of. I realize the things that I want in this life. I realize the places I want to go, the things I want to do, the people I want to meet. I see these things for myself, and to know that the things that I'm doing each and every day is pushing me further and further towards that potential is what's fulfilling. That's what keeps me going. That's what's driving me forward. That's my life force that's pulling me forward. And the potential that looms over my head is the things that I don't do, the things that I'm grieving, the futures that I'm grieving, the past that I'm grieving. To go back to the whole grieving theme from earlier, the potential that looms over my head is the actions that I don't take, the things that I'm like, oh, I didn't feel like doing that, so I didn't do it. And I know that if I looked back in 6 months and I consistently didn't do these things, the untapped potential that I would have would kill me. It would kill me way more than just being like, oh, I don't feel like it. I don't feel like it. I don't feel like it. I know that I've wanted to do content. I've wanted to post TikToks. I've wanted to post YouTube videos. I've wanted to do these things for so much of my life. And that's the potential that looms over my head. Now the potential that I see in front of my face is the daily posting, the daily YouTubes, the writing, the everything that I'm doing, the going to the gym. All of these things are avoiding the potential over my head, because I know that there's going to be one day that I look back and I'm going to be like, oh, did I do the things I wanted to do? It sounds so extremely cliche of like, oh, on your deathbed. I don't even want to think about the deathbed. Like, we don't even have to think about that far, but I just think about even in the last year of things that I said I wanted to do. And some of them I did. Some of them I well surpassed the things I said I wanted to do. Some of them I didn't do at all. And the things that I did do, the things that I surpassed or exceeded my goals, those feel great. Those feel fantastic. Like, I'm so proud of myself. But the things that I didn't do, that I'm like, the reasons that I didn't do that are so silly. That's that untapped potential that's looming over my head. Those are the things that sting, the things that I don't want to feel anymore. And so now, in the process of showing up for myself and showing up in the world as my authentic self, it's chasing that carrot that's in front of me. What is bringing me towards my potential? What is my untapped potential? Is what I'm doing getting me closer to that potential? And that can change. That can all change. It can change in the span of a week. It can change in the span of an hour. Like, it doesn't really matter what that potential is. The fact that it's there is enough to drive you forward. Because I spent so much of my life just like, where do I go? What do I do? What do I want to do? And just thinking and ruminating and grieving, thinking, just cycle. And as time passes, these metaphorical figs of the fig tree start to rot. And like, I'm 24, which I know is to some a spring chicken, and to some is an old man, going back to everything being relative. But there's things at 24 that I'm like, oh shit, at 22, I said that I wanted to do this and I haven't even started. And it's like, time really does wait for no one. And to see my potential so clearly, knowing that each and every day I'm able to show up in the way that I need to reach that potential. And like I said, remember, it's not the rigidity of showing up for yourself. It's how you show up for yourself. Sometimes you need to be that gentle hand that says, it's okay, take a rest. Lay in bed, get an extra hour of sleep. Sometimes showing up for yourself is the, no, you're being lazy, you're slacking off, you need to go. But it's that internal work that you need to do to know who you need to be for yourself, how you need to show up for yourself. Because I'm not in the position to tell you, you need to do this, 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 and this every single day. But I can tell you that you can be the person that you need to be to show up for yourself. If you need that type of person that says, hey, take a breath, be that for yourself. If you need to be the person that says, hey, keep going, you can be that for yourself. It's less about how you show up for yourself in terms of the specific actions, like the to-do list that you do. It's more about how you show up for yourself, the ways in which you show up for yourself. And all of these things feed into one another. The grieving, the potential, the authenticity, all of these things help me become well-rounded. And in doing so, I feel happier. I feel healthier. Like I haven't been sick in months, knock on wood, because I'm taking care of myself, but also internally, like I don't feel an internal battle. Of course, there's the things that I stress about, but I feel so aligned that manifests in other ways. That manifests in health, that manifests in opportunities, that manifests in relationships. And like I said, it's not my intention to preach or to act like I know everything. Like I'm the first to tell you that I don't know anything. I don't know shit about anything. The things that I tell myself on a day-to-day basis, I hope that in sharing those things that perhaps they can have an impact on you as well. The reflections of grief, the words of potential, the ways in which I show up for myself in the most authentic ways possible, moment to moment, day by day, situation by situation. It's my hope that in all of these things combined, that maybe, just maybe, that you can feel seen, that you can feel heard, that you can feel maybe motivated, you can feel less alone. You can realize that the grief is immense, but so is the potential, that life is fragile, but also extremely resilient, and that we must love relentlessly ourselves and one another. I appreciate you spending time with me. I love you so much. We're in this together. I'm so incredibly proud of you, and I hope you have a great day.